What we need to do now is overlay the saddle areas where acrylic's going to go on the freehand saddle and the bounded saddle, and we're going to elevate these by 0.6 of a mil. And what that will do, the plate will obviously fit close against the pallet. When it comes up to here, there'll be a slight gap between the mesh grid, the retentive grid, and the ridge, and that allows acrylic to go over, through and underneath it, so this whole saddle area either side will be overlaid with acrylic, and it lets us reline it. To do that, we're going to use preparation wax. It's slightly adhesive, it's 0.6 of a mil. And we take this off, you'll notice it's a sort of an orangey colour, and it is quite sticky on its own, so it doesn't really need sealing down. So I'm just going to take a little piece of this, just enough to go down this saddle here. Just a gentle warm in the flame, and then you can adapt it onto the ridge. Don't press too hard because you don't want to thin it out. It's still 0.6, and then I'm just using something like a Lacron or any other instrument that you prefer. Carve the excess away. We don't need to worry about here. I will seal that down. I'll just get my instrument. I'm just using the wax that's already there. I'm just going to seal that down into place. And it shouldn't lift anyway because we're using silicone. No air should escape from it. Make sure it's cut sharply along the margin. There's no point in doing all that surveying if you're just going to cover it with wax. Now, a very critical part of this is that this junction where the metal ends and the acrylic starts, which is just here, that has to be cut at a very sharp angle. Don't blend it. Don't get a hot knife and blend this in. You've got to have a definite end to the metal and a start to the acrylic, and this will reproduce itself underneath the framework. As you'll see later. So I'm going to cut along there at 90 degrees to the model, and hopefully now you can see that that's a sharp edge, so the metal will stop there and the acrylic can finish up to that underneath it. That's all you really need to do for that one. I'll do the same procedure on the other side. I'll just see how much I'm going to need. This is one of our most expensive waxes, so please use only what you need. Even that will probably do 3 different jobs, maybe 2. Cut the excess. Again, where it's overlapped onto the teeth, I'm going to cut at the margin. No point in ruining all that surveying just by overlaying it with a big piece of wax. So that comes off. And around the 7 here, finish it round the margin, just take the excess away. That means my framework will fit tightly up against there. I'm going to seal it only on the buckle side. Make sure that that's joined. You shouldn't be able to see any bare plaster under here. If you do, you'd need to piece it. And then just to finish off, I'm going to get my Lacron, and you can see the line I need to follow. So at 90 degrees, I'm going to cut that nice and sharp, and that should give me a really nice finishing bead underneath, and will maintain a thickness of acrylic. We're all but done. One stage left to do before we can go and duplicate, and that's to cut the pin dams.